Hi, my name's Olivia with Yoga Solutions and welcome to your chair yoga. Let's get your chair set up facing towards the screen that you'll be looking at. And then when you're ready, you're gonna make your way into seated. Let's begin by finding that connection between our sit bones and the chair. You might even want to take the flesh away from your sit bones. This can help anchor in a little bit more. And just sitting up nice and tall here, maybe even rolling the shoulders up and then back down. And then from here, let's begin to notice the breath. Frequently throughout our day, we're usually disconnected with our breath. And this is what's great about a yoga practice, is that we can find that connection with our breath. So I want you to just take a moment here and really notice, just keep all your awareness on your breath. All right, now that we've found that connection with the breath, we're gonna move into the pranayama, altering the breath. So we're taking a modified version of the breath of joy. Sitting up nice and tall, we're gonna take a nice big inhale to bend our elbows, bring the hands towards the body. And then a nice big exhale to straighten the arms, hands come away from the body. We're gonna inhale to reach up. If you have blood pressure or heart conditions, hanging out here. Otherwise, you can come all the way up. And then on your exhale, I want you to think about drawing energy in towards the body. And we're just gonna store that energy around the body, and we're gonna keep moving through these. So nice big inhale to bend. Deep exhale, straighten. Inhale to reach the arms up to where you need to take it to. Exhale, draw energy in. And I want you just to think about storing that energy around the body for now. We're gonna take 3 more of those. Flowing with your breath. And then once you've completed your 5 cycles in total here, I want you just to visualize that energy that we've stored around the body. And then you're gonna scoop all that energy up. And we're gonna visualize it in between the hands. And however you want to visualize this, sometimes a fog of glowing light might be what is gonna help you with your visualization. I like to visualize a crystal ball in my hand, and it's glowing, and you can see that fog inside of the crystal ball. And if this energy is meant for you today, you're gonna absorb it into each one of your pores in your palms. But if you wanna send this energy off to somebody, I want you to close your eyes and then think about who or where or what you wanna send your energy to. You flip the palms away from the body and then see that energy leave your hands and go to exactly to where you want this energy to go to. This energy can travel across oceans. It can travel over mountains. Go ahead and find that distance healing. All right, let's take one more breath here. And then releasing, we'll just rinse it out with a couple shoulder rolls here. And then from here, we're gonna move into our cat and dog tilts. So you want your feet to be about hip width apart. Try to get your feet against the ground if possible. Hands are gonna come onto the thighs. We're gonna take a nice big inhale. Bring the hands back towards the body. We're gonna squeeze the shoulder blades. Look up only if that's okay on your neck. And then on your exhale, we're gonna slide those hands towards the knees, tuck the chin around the spine. Just feel that nice stretch across the back of the shoulders. Moving back and forth through these. And again, we're gonna flow with the breath. And you're gonna use your breath as your guide as you tether back and forth. The breath tethers to these movements. All right, let's take one more round here. And then returning back into that neutral spine. All right, from here we're gonna move into some twists. The first twist we're gonna take is a little bit more on the gentle side. Second twist is deeper, only if you wanna take it. So feet should be about hip width apart, and you want the feet flush against the ground if possible. I want you to take a nice big breath in and really lengthen out the spine, grow tall here. Exhale, just a little mini twist from the shoulders towards the right. Right hand comes down by the side, left hand can come to the outside of the knee. And we'll just take a couple deep breaths here. You feel that core still active, so we're not really leaning back into this. You've got a nice active core here. The shoulders relax away from the ears, and if there's any gripping in the jaw, let that go. While you're here in this space, sometimes it's nice to dedicate your practice to someone. So if there's somebody or it doesn't have to be a human, it could be a pet. If you want to dedicate your practice to someone or some animal, go ahead. Dedicate that practice. Unclench the jaw. If there's any gripping there, let's take one more breath. And on your exhale, we're gonna slowly unwind back to center, and you can rinse that out with those shoulder rolls. All right, we're gonna take that on the other side. So nice big breath in, lengthen the spine, grow tall. Exhale, we twist from the shoulders to the left this time. So this time the left hand comes down by the side, the right hand to the left knee. Relax the shoulders, keep that core engaged so we're not leaning back into this. This is nice and active. Relax the jaw. We're gonna think about those spots that we can soften and those spots that we can support. And then if you did dedicate your practice to someone, I want you to think, or a pet or an animal, I want you to think about that person or that animal. All right, with the next exhale, let's unwind the heart back to center. We'll rinse it out with those shoulder rolls, maybe a couple shoulder shrugs, whatever feels good. Now you can take that version again, but if you want to take a little bit of a deeper version, you're gonna slide your legs over to the right side of your chair. So your right hip is up against the back of the chair. The right hand is gonna rest to the back of the chair. Make sure those sit bones are nice and grounded. Try to get the feet flush against the ground and the feet are hip width apart. You're gonna take a nice big breath in, lengthen out that spine again. Exhale, this time we're twisting from the whole center here, from the torso. Twist towards the back of your chair. If you have space here, we're gonna inhale to lengthen out, grow tall. And exhale, twist a little deeper towards the back of the chair. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, and just checking in with how you feel here. If it doesn't feel okay, you can always come back to that gentler version of the twist that we took prior to this. All right. With your next exhale, we're gonna slowly unwind the heart back to neutral again, rinse it out. And if you took the deeper version on this side, we're gonna take the deeper version on the other side. So let's bring the legs over to the left side. All right. So if you want to get those sit bones grounded, feet are flush to the ground, feet are hip width apart. This time the left hip is up against the back of the chair, the left hand rests on the back of the chair. We take a big breath in, first to lengthen out and grow tall, and then we exhale, twist towards the back of the chair. All right, if you have space and you want to take this deeper, inhale, lengthen out the spine, grow tall. Exhale, we twist deeper towards the back of the chair. And again, just checking in with the body here, checking in with the spine. Make sure everything feels okay. You never want pain in the body. Pain is our body's way of giving us feedback to say, no thanks. All right, let's take one more nice deep breath in. And we'll use the exhale to slowly unwind back through center. Heart comes back to neutral, and you can rinse it out with those shoulder rolls. If you did bring the legs around the side, you can swing them back over towards the front of your chair. We're gonna come into a modified seated Dandasana pose, staff pose. We're gonna take this in more of a dynamic version. Now, the further up on your chair that you come, the more challenging this is gonna be. There's less support under the thighs. The further back that you come on your chair, the least challenging it's gonna be, a bit more on the gentle side. So I want you to find a nice balance here, somewhere in between where you feel a little bit of a challenge, but it's not gonna be too much for you. So we're gonna sit up nice and tall, and what's important about this pose is that we maintain that length here in the spine, that nice neutral spine. Don't worry about how high your leg comes. Let's start with the right leg. We're gonna inhale the right leg up as high as you can and flex the foot only if that's okay. And then on your exhale, you're gonna take your time to flow with the breath here. Send that foot back down, you can tap it down. So we're gonna inhale up, maintaining that nice long spine. Exhale down. All right, we're gonna take 3 more on this side. And again, just flowing with your breath. And your breath might not always match mine, and that is absolutely fine. All right, let's tap that out when you've finished your 5. And then again, just checking in with that spine, making sure that it is nice and neutral. Relax those shoulder blades so we're not leaning back into this. We feel that active core, engaged core here, and then we'll switch over to the left side. When you're ready, inhale the left leg up, and if it feels okay to flex that foot. And on your exhale, we're gonna slowly lower back down. So taking 5 in total, 4 more on this side. Make sure you're maintaining that engagement through the core. Don't worry about how high the leg lifts. Don't worry about that flex. What's important is that we lift the leg nice and straight, and we maintain that active core. All right, when you have finished that, you're just gonna tap it out. Let that go. All right, let's go ahead and start to open up the hips a little bit after our Dandasana. So we're gonna bring the legs out to the side. And again, you might need to just come a little bit more towards the top of your chair here. And it doesn't really matter how wide your legs are here, as long as you're feeling a nice hip opener, that's all that really matters. You wanna try and track the knees and the toes in the same direction here. And try to get those knees right over top of the ankles. Now we're gonna sit up nice and tall, and maybe you just wanna stay here in the hip opener. If you do wanna add a little bit of a side stretch here, you're gonna bring the left forearm down onto the left thigh. And we're keeping a nice open heart here, so I don't want you to dump into the shoulder here. We're gonna keep everything nice and open, nice and broad across the chest. We're gonna inhale the right arm up. Now, if you have blood pressure, heart conditions, you're just gonna bring the hand onto the shoulder. Otherwise, you can inhale up and then exhale into that side fold. Now, maybe you stay here in this stretch and just checking in with that bottom arm. You don't wanna lean into this, right? So maybe just lifting it up, replacing it back down, but just making sure that everything's nice and maintained here. If you want, you can come into a modified extended side angle, a little bit of a deeper stretch, so extending that right leg out as well. Let's take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. All right, bottom of that breath, we're gonna release that, come back to neutral. If you did take the side stretch and the modified side angle, extended side angle, you can start to bring that right forearm down here. And again, we still want to keep the chest open here. Inhale, left arm up, blood pressure, heart conditions here. Otherwise, inhale up and exhale into that side fold. Feeling that nice big stretch into the left side of the body. If you want to take it a little deeper, a little bit of a bigger stretch here, you're going to send that left leg out to the side. Let's take one breath here. And then bottom of that breath, you can release and come back to neutral, and we're just gonna tap it out, rinse it out. Whatever you need here, just to kind of counter stretch. All right, so we're gonna come back to our Dandasana pose. And this time, we're gonna take it a little bit deeper. We're gonna add on. We're gonna inhale up, exhale, hold, inhale, hold, exhale, release. So you decide if you wanna come to the top of your chair, or if you wanna push your seat towards the back of the chair, or maybe finding somewhere in between, a nice sort of challenge, but with compassion here. All right, let's sit up nice and tall, roll those shoulder blades down the back. We keep that active core. We keep that neutral spine. We'll start with the right leg. We're gonna inhale the right leg up as high as you can and flex the foot if that feels okay. Deep exhale to hold here, and a big inhale, still holding. And on the exhale, we're gonna release. Because these ones are a little bit more challenging, we're just gonna take 3 on this side. Maintaining that active core. Okay, let's take 1 more on this side. It's okay if you do not flow with the same pace as my breath. Well, let's tap it out when you're finished. You might be finished before me, you might be finished after me. We all have a different pace of breath. Okay, let's start on the left side here. So we're gonna sit up nice and tall, roll those shoulder blades down the back, keep that core active, engaged, bring it online here. We're gonna inhale, left leg up. Exhale to hold. Deep inhale, still holding. Exhale, slow release down. 2 more on this side. All right, and then once you've finished, you can rinse it out with those toe taps, whatever you need here, just to kind of let that go. All right, we're gonna move into a hamstring stretch next. So you wanna keep one knee bent, and then we're gonna extend one leg. And you do need to come up towards the top of your chair here, towards the top of the seat, because if you're too far back, it's gonna be too hard to keep an extension in the leg here, right? The thighs too supported. So we have to come back so that there's pretty much nothing underneath your thigh, and then you can extend the leg out. Now from here, you're gonna just flex and point and see how that feels. For some people, flexing does not feel good. It is painful. So if it's painful, I don't want you to do it. Just take any feedback that your body's giving you and then really trust in that feedback because it's there for your optimal health. So we're just flexing and pointing here just to see how that feels. All right, now maybe the flex is something that you want to stay. This might be a nice deep stretch for you. If you do want to take it deeper, we're going to bring those hands into those fingers, kind of into the hip creases. We're going to inhale, grow nice and tall, lengthen out your spine, and then hug that core in. Exhale, we're going to lead with our chest here. The heart leads as we hinge from the hips, and we come forward a little bit till you find that nice deep stretch down the back of the thigh there into the hamstring. The spine is neutral. You want to keep the neck in line with the spine. Relax the jaw. Let's take one more breath here. Bottom of that breath, take your time to rise back up. There is absolutely no rush. And then you can bring your foot back in and we'll tap it out, just rinse it out a little bit here. All right, switching over to the other side. So let's first extend the other leg out and you're just gonna flex and point here. Check it out, see how it feels. And one side might be tighter than the other, just depending, right? If you're right-handed or left-handed, we definitely have a dominant side. Sometimes we think we're perfectly symmetrical, but we're not. One side will be tighter than the other. And maybe it's noticeable, maybe it's not. All right, so check it out, see how that feels. If the flex is okay to keep, you keep that flex. Bringing those fingertips, if you want to take it deeper, fingertips into the hip creases. So just below the hip bones there. We're going to take a nice big breath in, find that length here, and then exhale, keeping that neutral spine, keeping that core active and engaged. We fold forward until you find that deeper stretch down the back of the leg. Yeah. You can relax your neck and head, but I just want to keep the neck in line with the spine here, so we're not rounding. Relax your jaw. We'll take one more breath here. And then at the bottom of that breath, take your time. There is no rush to rise back up. Yeah. All right, let's tap that out, rinse it out a little bit. All right, next we're gonna move into our standing postures. So we will use the back of the chair for balance. So if that is something that's accessible for you, you can go ahead and take this into standing. All right, I'm gonna bring my chair to the side here. You don't have to move your chair. I'm just moving it to the side so that I am visible here. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start to focus on strengthening the back of the legs in our calf raises. So your feet should be about hip width apart. Your hands are gonna rest to the back of the chair here. Toes point towards the back of the chair, and we keep that core nice and active, gazes forward. We're gonna inhale up onto the tippy toes. Now, if it's too much to come to the tippy toes, we just hover the heels. If it's okay to come all the way up, you're gonna come all the way up. And then exhale, slowly descend back down. So we flow with the breath. We inhale up, we exhale down. If you feel like there's any rolling of the ankle, I want you to just not take it as deep. You don't have to go as high on the tippy toes. But we're flowing with the breath, and it's a nice slow breath. Nice slow inhale, slow exhale. All right, we're gonna take 3 more here. And at the bottom of your next breath, you can release those heels back down. And if you want, you can just rinse it out with a couple heel taps here. All right, we're gonna stretch that out in our modified warrior 1. So I want you to bring your hands onto the back of the chair. We're gonna take a big step back with your right foot. So the left knee is bent and it's stacked right on top of the ankle. The toes point towards the back of the chair. Your back foot is on a 45-degree angle. So the toes are just pointing a little bit away from you, almost like a half V. And that back leg is straight or a micro bend if that feels better. Those hips are gonna shift towards the back of your chair. Keep that core nice and tight, and you wanna feel stretch down the back of the leg. Now the more distance there is between your feet here, the deeper the stretch, the deeper you're gonna get of a stretch into the back of the leg. But you wanna find somewhere nice and kind of in between here. All right, now if it's okay for you to release the hands from your chair, you can. If it's not okay, don't worry about it. But if it's okay for your balance, hands come to heart center. We take a nice big breath in. Slow breath out. Release the hands back to the chair. And then you can either heel toe the foot back, or if it's okay for you to do it in one motion, you can take that step back towards the top of the chair, or towards the chair here. All right, we're gonna take this on the other side. So we find that nice active core. We send the left leg back this time. So this time the right knee's bent, stacked on top of that ankle. Back foot is on a half V or 45-degree angle. Back leg has a micro bend or completely straight. And we shift those hips towards the back of the chair. Now keep that chest lifted, keep that core engaged. If it's okay to bring hands to heart center, if that's fine for your balance, take a nice big breath in. Deep breath out. We return the hands back to the chair. You can heel toe that foot or do it in one motion here. I'm just gonna rinse that out. All right, let's give a little bit of love to the shoulders here. So we're gonna do a nice open twist here. that is great for twisting, great for the spine, but also nice for the shoulders. So we're gonna keep the feet about hip width apart, and we're gonna keep that navel nice and tucked in. Let's roll the shoulders up first and then back down. All right, one hand is gonna stay onto the chair and the other hand is gonna come down by your side. We're gonna take a nice big breath in and we're gonna send that arm behind and up. And the chest is gonna follow. You can bring that arm shoulder height, but no more. Gaze can come back, only if that's okay for the neck. And then we return back to neutral. So we're gonna take 2 more of those. So we inhale the arm behind and up, and exhale back to center. It doesn't matter how high your arm comes here, but it is gonna come out behind you, not out to the side. We find that open twist, and then we exhale back to neutral, and just give the shoulders a little bit of a rinse out here. All right, we're gonna take that on the other side. Again, I'm just moving my chair so that I'm visible, and you can see the demonstration here, but you don't have to move your chair. So feet hip width apart, we find that active core, maybe roll the shoulder blades up and then back down again. One hand on the chair for balance. We're gonna inhale, let the torso follow as we bring that arm behind and up, no more than shoulder height. Gaze can come with it, but it doesn't have to. Exhale back to neutral. So you can keep the gaze wherever it's comfortable for your neck. Okay, we take 1 more here. Flowing with the breath. And then when you finish that, you can just rinse it out. Shake that out a little bit. All right, next, we're gonna come into a downward facing dog using the chair. Now, if your chair is on a hardwood floor and you feel like it could slide out from underneath you, you can absolutely use a wall. So you can use a wall if you like, which hopefully won't slide out from underneath you. If your chair is secure, then you can definitely use the chair. And different chairs will have different heights. So again, maybe the wall might be a better choice for you if your chair is quite low or too high. But if it's somewhere medium and it feels okay, you can try the downward dog from the back of the chair. So feet are hip width apart, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a step or 2 back here. First, we're just gonna find it's an L shape. I'm just gonna move my chair forward a bit here. So you wanna be a good enough distance away from your chair that the back of your head does not hit the back of the, or the head doesn't hit the back of the chair. We're gonna hug that core nice and tight, take a nice big breath in, and then exhale. I want you to think about pushing the hips back. So we're not dropping the chest. You think about pushing the hips back and the chest will just naturally drop. You wanna have your arms in line or with your ears, so the biceps and the ears are kind of in line here. And I can see I need to kind of shift my chair forward a bit, but you could always step back a little bit so that you find that 90-degree angle into your L. And this might be a nice stretch for you. You'll probably feel this into the armpits, into the back of the legs. You don't have to have straight legs. You can bend the knees if that feels better, but I want you to keep that active core. Now, if you want to take this a little bit deeper, if it feels okay, body's allowing you to do that, you can take another step back. We're going to move ourselves into the downward facing dog or an inverted V. So we're going to hug the core in, take a nice big breath in. Exhale, we push the hips back a little bit more. The chest will naturally follow, and then maybe the ears come below the biceps here. So just checking in with how you feel here. You know, if you need to release this pose, go ahead, but that core is tight. You can keep a micro bend in the knees if that feels better for you. We'll take 1 more breath. Now to release this pose, we are going to take this very slowly. You're going to take 1 baby step in with each foot, and then we're going to come up just a little bit. This is important that we take our time. 1 baby step in with each foot, and then we come up a little bit more. 1 baby step in, and then a little bit more, and then 1 baby step in. We come all the way up. I want you to check in with how you feel. If you feel dizzy or nauseous or anything coming out of your downward dog, take your time and make sure you feel okay. If you need to come to seated, then you go ahead and come to seated. When you're ready, you can just take a few rinses with the shoulders and just check in again with how you feel. All right, lastly, our last pose, we're gonna take our Vrksasana or tree pose here. So you can do a couple different things. You can have the chair right in front of you for your balance. I am gonna move my chair off to the side again so that you can see what I'm doing. My chair isn't blocking me, but you can do this version too. So we're going to shift the weight into the right foot, and you're just gonna press down in all four corners of that foot. So feel the big toe press down, feel the baby toe press down, feel the corners of the heel press down, lots of activation. A micro bend in the knee or straight leg, totally up to you. And then we're gonna open the hip up so that the knee points away from the body, and we just rest the heel onto your ankle here. So this is kickstand version of tree pose. If you do want to take it a little bit deeper from here, you're going to lift your pelvic floor, hug the navel into the spine. So this is our Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. These are two energy locks. There's 3 in total, but these are 2 of them in yoga here, in that yoga philosophy. And then once everything's nice and active, engaged, you're going to bring your foot in between your ankle and your knee, never on the knee. There's too much unnecessary stress if you put your foot on the knee. Maybe from here you want to grow a branch up. Go ahead. Now if you want to lift that other branch up, I want you to first find a drishti. This is a focus point. It can be something on the ceiling, it can be something on the floor, it can be something right in front of you, but it's not moving. You're going to keep that engagement. Everything's nice and active, pelvic floor is lifted, navel's tucked in tight, and then maybe you float that other branch up into your full tree. All right, and you can tap in and out of this pose. All right, let's bring one of those branches back down to the chair. Your other branch, if it's lifted, we're gonna bring that to the hip. The knee is gonna come forward. We extend the leg out and then very gently release your tree. And then just rinse it out. Shake out your leaves, let that go. All right, we're gonna take that on the other side. So again, I'm just moving my chair to the other side. You don't have to move the chair, you can physically move to the other side. So we shift that weight into the left leg, and then I want you to press into all 4 corners of the foot here. Press the big toe down, the baby toe, the corners of your heel, and then we're gonna open up into our kickstand version of tree pose. All right, maybe we stay here. Maybe a branch grows up. Yeah, and again, just being mindful of blood pressure, heart conditions. You don't wanna go higher than this if you do have that. Okay, we're gonna lift the pelvic floor, hug the navel tight to the spine, and then we bring the foot maybe to your calf. Feel that nice hip opener. If you wanna find that drishti and take this a little deeper, go ahead. You look at that spot that's not moving, and then we keep that Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, nice and engaged. Yeah, maybe we have a micro bend in the knee, maybe we don't. Totally up to you. And then sometimes we hold the pose and then we hold the breath too. I want you to hold the pose and not the breath. And it's okay if you fall out, just get back in. Just make sure it's not a long fall. If you need to replace the hand back down, you can. So let's all bring that hand back to the chair if it was lifted. We'll bring our other hand to our hip. The knee comes forward. We extend that leg out, and then we gently release down, and then shake out your leaves. Shake it out. All right, wonderful. We're gonna finish the class off here with 3 nice deep breaths. So whenever you're ready, I want you to make your way back into seated. We're going to roll the shoulder blades up and then back down again. Keep that core nice and tight, and we'll bring hands to heart center for Anjali Mudra. Let's take 3 deep cleansing breaths together to seal our practice off and anchor us in our unified center of love and happiness. Nice big breath in. Exhale, side out, let it go. One more. The divine in me bows to the divine in you. Namaste.